Good morning. This is Holly with Holly's Joys, and I'm going to reinterpret a scripture for you today in a way that I think is a take on it that I haven't heard. And you don't have to agree with me, that's cool. So here we go. It is choose you this day, Joshua 24:15. So I'm going to read the original scripture and then I'm going to talk about it. But if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourself this day whom you will serve, whether the gods or your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land are living. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. Okay, so before I go into my interpretation of this, let's just define the word serve because he uses that, and that's pretty important in this scripture. And I looked it up, and I mean, serve is such a broad word, it can mean almost anything. So I went to the synonyms, which I find helpful when I look into words and they have this really broad, almost anything goes definition. So the synonyms are help, assist, provide, supply, deliver, attend to, or act as. So if we just insert that into the scripture, choose for yourselves this day whom you will help or assist, provide, supply, deliver, attend to, or act as. So that's kind of the definition that we're going with here. So this is my mirrored telling. Moses has died at this point, and he was preparing Joshua all along. He was a spectacular mentor at every step of the way. So, and he didn't just mentor Joshua, he was trying to mentor everybody. It's just Joshua was very receptive. He had the very fertile soil in his soul. So, communication at this place in history was very important, and it wasn't just your words. You couldn't just say something like our leaders now can say, and say something and then they act completely different. That's not that's not mentorship and that's not leadership, just FYI. But Moses had it going on. He was saying, and he was teaching that to Joshua, and Joshua was even better at it, I think. He was brave and bold, and he stood by his word. So he was living it. The tribe had made it into this promised land, and now they were faced with culture shock. Let's face it, they'd been pretty isolated. So the people of this new land behaved differently. They worshiped differently. They dressed differently. They even had strange gods. It was very intimidating for them and even made them afraid. Joshua, being the great leader he was, even at this early stage, he understood this about the people. He also knew that he had dominion over this situation, but exercising his dominion was not dominance. Also, something else our leadership could use a nod to, but not bringing about, he wanted to bring about a desired result. He wanted peace and joy and happiness and a life promised of God for him and his people. He knew that each person to accomplish this goal had to find and choose within themselves, that this had to come from them. He couldn't force it on them. You can't rule it away, okay? You can't make enough laws to make people behave. They got to do it from this internal balance. So Joshua knew that. He had personally made his choice and he was going to make it clear for everybody, just so there was no misunderstanding among the people. And so he stood in his dominion. See, dominance, it wants to sneak in there. He stood in his dominion as leader, and he understood that the land that he was talking about was internal as well. And when he says those infamous words, choose you this day whom you will serve, it was a challenge to each person and also to the groupthink that was going on. Are you going to serve fear and misunderstanding and hatred? Or are you going to take dominion over your internal thought life and live the life that God has promised you? That's my challenge to myself today and every day, really. So, because each day is new and you get to choose again and again. So, go in your laboratory of life and just think about the scripture in this way and see if it helps you have a better day. So we'll see you next time. Like, share, follow, subscribe, do all the things.